Ladies and gentlemen, we are tonight's entertainment.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
Yo, what up, people? It's Philly Council, live and direct with unpopular celebrities. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, your favorite snack, because we about to talk about all kinds of provocative stuff. Military, politics, sports, whatever you name it. Prepare for a roller coaster of emotions, knowledge, entertainment, and downright fun. Hey, but before we go further, hey, yo, Jess, what up, girl?
Yo, it's like my mom always said. 2 tears in a bucket, mother.
What's up? It's Dev from the Unpopular Celebrities Podcast. Get ready for a podcast that brings the excitement right to your screen.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, what up? Whoa, we missing one. There he is. We missing one. What up? We can't hear you.
On mute.
Oh,
What's the word?
Nope, still can't hear you.
His camera went out. Probably turned the mic off too.
Yep,
What's
exactly
up,
what happened.
Not much, John.
Yeah, go back on the mic. What's good with y'all?
Not much.
Keep working on your end, man. When you get back on, we get you back on.
Hey, I finally hit somewhat of a beach yesterday. Been in Hawaii about a month and 2-3 weeks. First beach visit. I promised my daughter and my wife I wouldn't do too much exploring until they got down here. So I've been trying to stay low key, but that's it, man. Still living like a nomad until my team reconvenes.
Right. Yeah. How long you got till that? Couple more weeks.
Couple more weeks.
Yeah. Dale, what's up with you?
Not much. Just chilling. Just got some errands done this morning, so I can hop on the podcast and start next week. What's up with y'all?
Man, I spent the weekend watching the WNBA All-Star game. Well, Friday. Yeah, I saw it Friday, but it comes on like at 1:00. So he's kind of just watching a little bit at work and stuff like that. But I don't know if you saw the 3-point contest.
Nah, I didn't know it was.
Oh,
I seen. I forgot old girl name.
Sabrina.
Steph Curry. Yeah, she beat Steph Curry record.
Bro, this girl hit 37, bro, at a possible 40.
She only missed 2.
Yeah. I was like, bro, she hit like 14 in a row or something like that. It was ridiculous.
She was on fire.
Man, I mean, Dell, I don't know the last time he shot around, but I don't know the last time I hit 14 in a row, period.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The last time you hit 3 in a row.
What's that, what?
When last time you hit 3 in a row?
Oh, what's today? Sunday?
Yeah, get out of my face. You waiting here? Yeah, right. Talking about, I don't know, last time I had 14. Never. Yeah. 14 dribbles. You dribble the ball 14 times.
Look, they're going to dooley, man, talking about never. You crazy. You crazy.
Never.
Out there.
Hey, look,
you must be talking about Mike.
You forgot. Look, I got to coach you playing, and I got to play with you playing. I ain't see.
And both times was successful.
You hit 2.5 jumpers.
Hold on. anyway. Thanks, Dooley, for being up in here. What's going on with you? But we got a special guest. Let's see if Philly got his life. Y'all
good? Y'all can hear me now?
Hear you loud and clear.
Clear.
All right, I'll wait. Go ahead.
They're getting this Mariah Carey on.
We just say how's everybody weekend. So real quick, we're going to how your weekend, then we'll bring in a special guest.
No, F that, bro. No, I saw that intro, man. Yo, you ain't get my permission to use that picture, bro. I'm telling you, that was hot trash, too. To be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I know, man. Then all of that, yo, you need to fix it. Either you're going to get our movie quotes in there, make it all uniform, or you need to just change them all out. You know what I mean? Like, you got looking like I got pseudofuculitis barbe on my beard. On my little picture, man. Let me talk this up with that, man.
See? Pete over there.
Hey, Jess, I see you in the comments. Hey, just tell them how you feel about your joint, man. They just have your little movie quote up there, but they cut out the cursing part.
I got her. I dubbed out the cursing. I got her permission on that. But anything
if you're going to use the whole quote, use the whole quote.
No, I can't do. Anyway, we got a special guest waiting to get into the show.
You drop 17 F-bombs an episode, and you're going to take it out of the intro?
Good point.
Good point.
Yo, think about me. Why y'all picking on me? We got a special guest, man. Can we introduce a special guest? DC, can you introduce a special guest for us so we can move on amicably?
Yo, first and foremost, happy Sunday, Unpopular Celebrities family. We got a special guest in the building today, the one, the only Chief Master Sergeant Chad Vancleave-Goff.
Hey, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
We need a hand clap sound effect for the background.
Yeah. Chief, what's going on?
Yo, I actually was practicing watching a wrestling tape on it. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh no, you good? Just want to say what's good, DC. I appreciate that that warm welcome and invitation. You can be an announcer in your next life.
Well, thank you very much.
Damn sure ain't gonna be a singer.
Thank you very much.
Be an announcer. You're right. Damn sure ain't gonna be no singer.
Oh, so we're gonna start now, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard him sing.
Yo, anybody tell from Pete's picture when he was in a plane, you couldn't tell if he was like an American or Iraqi? Which one was it?
Oh my God. Here we go. I had the mask on. I look like a dang fighter pilot. That's what I look like. I look like I was bringing it to the enemy.
No, you like
I was bringing air power to the enemy. That's what I look like.
Air power to the enemy. I'm gonna skip that one.
Chief Goff, how's your weekend going? I know you're out there in Ramstein, so it might be a little bit later than it is here.
Yeah, it's going well. It's almost 9:15 over here, so a little bit time difference from you all, but pretty good. It's pretty warm over here right now, and as y'all know, no AC over here in Europe unless you got a private air conditioner in your bedroom. So it's pretty hot over here to say the least. But I got a couple days of work this week, and then I'm actually headed to Croatia on Wednesday for a small vacation, just kind of reset, just a small summer vacation before we get into the pretty busy time over here at Ramstein. I mean, Ramstein's always busy, but we got a lot of stuff coming up here soon. So just wanted to take a knee real quick before getting into it.
I hear that.
Go ahead, Mike. No, go ahead, Mike.
What's up?
How important is that to you, taking a knee?
Well, honestly, it's extremely important, but I'll be honest with you, Mike. I didn't make this a priority till about 2 years ago. And that's the unfortunate part to say is for 19 years, I put the Air Force, my career, different things ahead of my personal life. And now I try to be extremely deliberate about taking a break just because it's needed. I mean, I can stand up there and act like He-Man and, you know, be a chief, or when I was a first sergeant trying to, you know, be in the rock, carrying the unit home. But the reality was I was kind of broken inside. So took a few years ago, me breaking down, and my spouse and obviously some good friends of mine telling me that I need to take a break. I still don't get it right. So I can admit to that I still get it wrong. But I do my best to try to take time for myself and for my family and the people that mean the most to me.
Yeah, I understand that 100%. I appreciate that. Pete, what you have?
Sir, I just want you to introduce yourself real quick for the people that don't know, myself that doesn't know you extremely well. Let's go ahead and introduce yourself. You know, whatever kind of thing you want to say. I just did an interview for ALS, so I know how crazy that question is. You know, go ahead and introduce yourself. It's like your mind goes blank right when you say that, like, but if you could just go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, no worries. So as you guys said, I'm Chief Chad Vancleave-Goff. I'm stationed at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Have the honor and privilege of being the senior enlisted leader for the 86th Security Forces Squadron. I have just over 500 military and civilian defenders that I'm honored to serve beside each and every day. I've been in our Air Force for about 21 years. I hail from the city of Winter Haven, Florida, which is about 25 miles south of Orlando. Throughout my career, I'm a career defender. However, I've stepped out a couple times for special duty assignments. Had the opportunity to do protocol, so command chief's exec as a staff sergeant. Also served as the special assistant to the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, number 17, Jim Cody. I was also a first sergeant. And then I've also, it's not really a special duty and doesn't exist anymore, but I was a vocalist, a lead vocalist for Thompson Blue 50th Anniversary World Tour in 2003. I've been in 9 different assignments, kind of lived all over the world. I've been in about 58 different countries. My background is just, I love working out, love singing, love any type of music whatsoever. And most importantly, as I was just speaking about earlier, just resting and recharging. How I do that is just through traveling. I love getting out and experiencing different cultures, different people, different countries, just seeing what this world is all about. You know, growing up in a small town, Southern family, not really knowing a lot, kind of mid-class, if you will, almost kind of lower class. The military's really opened up a lot of doors for me and allowed me an opportunity to be able to see the world and just meet different people. But I just want to say, I know it's just an introduction, but I'll probably say it at the end as well. I just want to give a special thanks and shout out to DC, Big Mike, Pete, Dale, all of you all, Jessica. I know she's not on here live, but just to say thank you for getting this platform out there. So our folks, whether they be airmen or retired or whatever else, they have an opportunity to come on here and just have real conversations. I do my best on Sundays to try to stay logged in and jump on here just because I value what you all bring to the table. I like the real conversations, no bullshit, just straight up about what's going on. So today, as we kind of open this up for questions, I know you guys will kind of give it already, but you know, I'll give you my personal experiences and some of my thoughts on different things that maybe you may ask me about. But by all means, even though I'm a chief in our Air Force, I'm not speaking on behalf of the Air Force or the Department of Defense. But one thing about me is I'm going to keep it raw, meaning I'm going to be vulnerable with you. I'm going to be real with you straight up about anything that you ask me. I'm not here to beat around the bush or try to give a sugarcoat answer. And then just, like I said, just keep it real and have a real conversation as we move through this podcast. Again, thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Mike, can you take that for me?
That intro. Anything that comes from Unpopular Celebrities Podcast is all unofficial. None of the conversations or comments from us or guests represent the DOD or the armed forces.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Appreciate that introduction.
Ooh, baby.
Man. That was a lot. Yeah, definitely. We appreciate that.
I like it. Whoa, that's what I'm talking about.
hey, he is singing mode today. Go ahead, Chief. Go ahead.
Since you said that, Chad. Chad, since you said that, man, let's start off this way, man. So, what do you think is the biggest? What is one thing you can say that folks say about you? And what is the biggest misconception about Chad Vancleave-Goff?
Well, I would say that
spicy.
that people say about me, and these are the people that truly know me, is that I'm an airman's chief, and I take pride in that. And I say that and I can speak this because all these defenders on the phone or on this podcast here today is I didn't really have a full-blown personal conversation with a senior enlisted leader in security forces until I was a tech sergeant. And yes, did I meet my chief? Did I meet my senior? Yeah, but most times it was out there on a post check, doing a bag drag, getting a post briefing, and they never took the opportunity to learn about me and who I was, right? It was just, do you know your job? Are you able? And that's really all we ever care about. And one thing that I always said throughout my career as I moved on is that I would be different than that, that I would be approachable and someone could reach out to no matter what it is. So I take pride in that. So I would say the people that really get to know me, probably the biggest thing they would say is that I am approachable and that I'm an airman's chief. And I know a lot of people say, mission first, airman always, or mission always, airman first, whatever else, and I've kind of had that same mantra throughout my career. But as time's moved on, what we do for our nation, wearing our nation's cloth, is huge, but it doesn't happen without the people. And that's why I try my damnedest with everything I do to connect on a personal level with everybody that I come in contact with. And as far as like the biggest misconception, well, if people that don't know me and maybe just see me in action or maybe in the gym or whatever else, I have an RBF, have a resting bitch face. There's people that may think that maybe I'm an asshole or unapproachable if they don't know me and they see me from a distance, just because my poise and kind of how I am. But once they get to know me, I'm a teddy bear, and everybody that knows me knows that. But on the flip side of things, I am a chief and I am a senior leader in our Air Force. So, if I do need to step into those roles accordingly, obviously I will. But again, I try my damnedest to make those personal connections to build trust and respect first and foremost.
Man, that's what's up. What's up.
Man, that's good stuff. I appreciate that. Pete, you can attest to that, man, because a lot of misconceptions about you, Pete, is that you joke around a lot, don't know shit, but you actually do know stuff. So
I don't even know how to take that.
With all due respect.
Yeah, right. Is that a compliment or a backhand compliment? I'm not for sure how to take that. Yeah.
Hey, I like that. I like that though. You come in and you go out and you don't know what just happened to you. I like that.
Mike, what about you? What's some misconceptions about you, Mike? Like, what about you? You kind of a big dude. Looking at
he big.
Video,
he can lift a lot.
Video, you shooting on weapons, man. You look like Super Soldier.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you though. That's the misconception about me too, man. Like every time I go somewhere, it's like the intro. I'm in phase 1, right? And tech sergeant come up. He said, "Hey, sir, I heard you just getting here." I said, "Yeah, I just got here." He said, "Okay, you know what flight you going on?" I said, "Nah." I said, "We'll figure that out later. Right now I'm just getting integrated with the squad." He was like, "Okay." So he kind of stood there for a minute. So I needed to get something off the printer. So I get up and he goes, "Oh, you the big master sergeant that everybody said is here." And I'm like, "That's the way. That's the way you get it." No, he said, "Oh, you the big black master sergeant everybody says here." I said, But the misconceptions is that I'm just gonna come in a section or a flight and just tear shit apart. You know what I'm saying? And like Chief said, that's not. I never wanted to be that guy, right? The perception is already there, right? So it's like I'm going to come in and figure out who y'all are. I'm going to observe. I'm not going to come in and just tear people's heads off because it's no fun in that, right? I rather get to know who you are, let you know who I am, and let's establish a relationship as a human being. First and foremost. So that's the misconception about me. Like, oh man, you see the new master sergeant, he about to come in here, everybody about to be picking up paper all day long on the floor, and all kind of craziness, man. But yeah, that's what I always get. I'm the big black master sergeant, the new guy.
Hey Mike, so Dooley had a comment, and I don't know what the hell BTIF is.
I remember how you did those boys at the B-TIF. Oh, the B-TIF was the Bagram internment facility, Bagram Theater intern. That we was working detainee ops. Yeah, back in 06. That's when me and Samel, shout out to Big Bro Samel again. That's what we all was deployed at, man. It was interesting. I'll say that it was interesting.
Hey, it's funny because when you first got to the base we were at, you were on Miz.
Yeah,
and they used to call you the Black Wreck-It Ralph. So I don't know what you're talking about with this tearing things up.
Who used to call me that?
It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter.
It sounds like something you came up with.
It don't matter.
Sound like something you came up with.
Chief Goff, I gotta ask you, why security forces?
So honestly, brother, when I was always growing up, my family, I would always be the last, street lights would be out, I'd be riding back in. I would always be found all through elementary school and middle school. I was either at the fire station or the police department in my local city. That's just kind of where I hung out at. And that's just kind of, what I was attracted to. I love sirens. I just love all the basic things, that people would see. And then, honestly, when I graduated high school, I wanted to be a cop there in my local town. But however, at the time, back in 2000 or 1999, so I graduated 2000. It's changed now, but you couldn't be a police officer at that time or carry unless you're 21. It's now 19. So obviously those were different. And, honestly, I sang for Disney World before I came in and also worked at Geico Insurance Company. Those were two jobs that I had prior to the military. It's interesting because, and those that know me, I mean, obviously going through everything, growing up in a Southern family, my family's from South Georgia and being from Central Florida, still discovering myself, my sexuality, different things like that. It was almost like it was twofold. I can go in the military, I can be a cop if I want to be, and then I can also kind of, I don't want to say run from myself, but really kind of discover who I am, right? So I went to the recruiter. The recruiter was in Orlando, took my ASVAB, and he gave me the list of jobs I could have, and I was like, yeah, I want to be a cop. And honestly, I mean, the guy tried to change my mind. He was like, nah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be security forces. And I tried to explain to him like, hey, I'm just going to join. I'm going to do my enlistment, maybe get some school done, and then my goal is to come back here to Central Florida and be a cop. But all that to say, joined the security forces, and quite honestly, fell in love with it. My first assignment was Anderson Air Force Base, Guam. A really, really, really awesome time. And I owe it so much to just leaders. And I'm sure we'll get into more to that. It just kind of kept me around and doing what I'm doing. I spent my first 6.5 years overseas. So I did Guam, largest field in the Azores, and Ramstein before going back stateside. So, a really different career. Really unique opportunities that kind of kept me in the game. I wonder sometimes if my career path or stations would have been different, would I have maybe changed? And I really can't say that, but I can honestly say, even through some of those things, there's really the people that I enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
Hey, Chief.
That's what's up.
Hey, Chief Goff. I'm a security forces by trade, but I'm currently serving in a DSD position. But I follow the Ramstein Facebook page, and I see a lot of my old coworkers you work with, Rosales, Williams, and Muse. And I was just going to tell you, like, you make like security forces like worth coming back to. It's because I see like how you interact with people. You're real into like. It seems like you guys got a good camaraderie over there. What keeps you serving at the time? Like, do you plan on like retiring at 20 years, or like what's your forward goal? Like your personal professional goals after already making chief?
Well, I've been in, I'm past the 20-year mark. I've been in 21 and a half. So I'll hit 22 this coming January into January. You know, I never, and I know Chief Counsel is probably going to laugh at me when I say this because Chief Counsel was my supervisor, and I don't know if we'll get into that later because.
Oh, we got to get into that. Oh, we got to get into that. That's mandatory. Yeah, write that down.
Well, shut up and sit down somewhere and be grown. We gotta get into that.
There's some funny stuff, but honestly, Dale, I never had goal or never, ever thought that I was gonna, make chief and didn't have this big goal to, hey, go be a chief, go do what have you. And honestly, even after I became a first sergeant, because people said, hey, you do a DSD, it's gonna slow down your career. These are gonna happen. Things are gonna change. I knew that I was going to do 20 years. I mean, I knew that for sure. But as far as like being a chief and what was next and kind of just going to the next, it wasn't until I was a senior master sergeant and I was testing for senior master sergeant, and I was seeing folks around me that was doing things and getting promoted, and I was like, damn, I can probably do this too, right? So it wasn't until then. But as far as like long-term career aspirations, right now at this point, I'll go as long as I can go. But at the end of the day, as I told you earlier at the beginning of this about being deliberate, about taking time for me and my family. Most people don't know this. They see me on Facebook because my spouse and I are always, taking pictures together and stuff. But even like right now, we don't live together. They'll be in joint service. He's in the Navy. I'm in the Air Force. The best that they could do for us was 2.5 hours away. Now, fortunately, he's in Stuttgart. I'm in Ramstein. We see each other every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He just got on a train, headed home. But this is how I know that he loves me. Just a couple weeks ago, he applied for the Space Force because we knew that, and he's been in the Navy 10 years, and he's got his own career serving in his own right. And I didn't want to take that from him, right? Because I'm a chief. I've went further than I ever expected to go. But what I will say is, right now we're kind of open. We're hoping that he gets selected to be a chief, to be in the Space Force. And then that'll kind of open up more opportunities for us to go, because it's very challenging even though joint spouse is a thing, it's very challenging for joint service, right? Navy and Air Force. There's only like 20 places we can go. And if you're E8 and below, they'll double bill it in E8 and below all day long. But as a chief, if there's not an assignment, if there's not a spot available for you, they won't put you in there. But here's the reality, and I've told everybody this. If they called me today and said, your spouse is going on a ship in San Diego, California, and we need you to be a MEPS chief, I'd be the best damn MEPS chief in the Air Force or in the Department of Defense. Right. That's what I had to do. So I would just tell you, Dale, that my priority now is my family. Awesome. But if an opportunity presents itself for me to serve at the next grade as an MSG chief or as a command chief, because obviously, I've been vectored, to move up into, different positions. If those opportunities present themselves and I can be with my family and be with my spouse, then I'll do it. But if they say, hey, we want you to go be the command chief at Laughlin and your spouse is at Norfolk, I'm not gonna be trying to pin on a star just to be separate from my spouse. I just did that for too long in my career. Put the Air Force before, and I love our Air Force, but family first, and I got to emulate that and be able to emulate that to the troops so they can see that as well.
Yeah. Thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
How important was being able to step in and out of the career field? How important was that to you, and how important you think was that for you to be able to continuously move up and make it to chief when you did?
So I think it was extremely important to step outside of the career field, because if you really look back to when General Welsh and really put the name behind developmental special duties, right? The goal of that was to step outside of your core, AFSC, go out and get some development, whatever that may be, right? And then come back and pour that in to your AFSC and be able to give back and be able to see our Air Force, see your career field, whatever it may be, through a different light. So it was extremely valuable to me. But I will be honest, returning back to the career field was kind of a challenge for me, right? And I'm not going to sit here and throw names and get things out, but like I can say today with Chief Gallagher, with General Sherman, and even when General Collins and stuff was there, the security forces career field now puts special emphasis and value on DSDs. Whereas before, you know, and again, I'm not going to go back and speak in, but it was like, hey, you come back, you need to prove yourself. There's things you need to do, things that you need to X, Y, or Z. And they weren't really understanding that, hey, yeah, you may have stepped out and you may not have been an operations superintendent or whatever else, but look at all this other valuable tools and things that you can bring back to the fight, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, when I took my diamond off, you know, I was supposed to go, I was headed to Wright Pat and was supposed to be moving up into the operations superintendent position. And it never happened because my chief got non-volled to Minot and I fleeted right up to the SEL position, right? So anybody that's seen my background has seen that I've never been an operations superintendent, that I've never been a logistics superintendent. But the difference is, and this is where I think when leaders coming out of DSDs and moving back in, is that I talked about earlier about vulnerability. When I got to Wright Pat and I took my diamond off, and even here at Ramstein, I told them where my deltas were. I told them, hey, these are the things that I needed. And what I did was I looked at my formation and I looked at my team and to find out who my subject matter experts in my formation that I can lean on that's going to guide me the right way, right? Because I have senior NCOs, CGOs, even NCOs, and in some cases airmen that are going to get me where I need to be. So I say that today is that, you know, yes, was it difficult coming back in the times that I took out because people could say that I missed some of the core roots of security forces, but I don't think that it's hurt me as a chief, right? Because in some of my weaknesses, I have teammates that are gonna supply me in my weaknesses and vice versa. Some of their weaknesses maybe in leadership, maybe in different types of stuff. I'm going to be there to strengthen them. So I'm a huge advocate of developmental special duties. So Dale, I'm glad that you're taking a step out and doing that. But I also will say that it's not meant for everybody, right? Because some people jump to go do developmental special duties or do things because of, you know, duty title or whatever, versus the root cause of really understanding what it means to do that, to not only develop yourself, but to develop our airmen.
Right. Appreciate it.
That's so good. Hey, if anybody in the comments has any questions that we're not asking, please go ahead and put them in. I know a lot of people are saying hello and saying what's up, and that's all well and good. And please keep sending those as well. Chief Counsel, I know you had a question. Go ahead.
Yo, Chad, so working with you at Joint Base Andrews, I know the type of person you are, man. You're very meticulous, professional. And when you said you had that RBF, I've seen you many times when you was on the Elite Gate Guard section. Shout out Chief Giroux over there. I believe he's at Fort Sam Houston. He's the chief over there. When you and Giroux worked Joint Base Andrews Elite Gate Guard, y'all didn't play. Is that true or not? Y'all didn't play.
It's true. We didn't play, you know, but I, you know, as you know, and I love this man to death, but he's now retired 4-star. General Daryl McDew was our AFDW commander, you know, 2-star at the time. And, you know, he had high standards and he had a certain expectation of the president's base, right? And, you know, I'll say we didn't play, but also, you know, the leaders of Andrews from group commander down kind of gave us the money that we need to stand up the section, and you kind of empowered us, right? And we got to take 60 brand new tech schoolers, right? And they were like wet clay, and kind of mold them in to what was expected of them as airmen and was expected of them being at Andrews, right? So you know, and I'll tell you, it's awesome because I would say probably 80 or 90% of those airmen that were on Elite Gate Guard, I still keep in contact with, even if they're out of the Air Force, right? Just because of that family and that thing that we shared there. So it was awesome.
That's good stuff.
Can you tell me what
that's a perfect segue when you mentioned standards? Hold on a second. When you mentioned standards, Chad, that's a perfect segue. Tactical caps or berets? Let's go. Which one?
I know.
Let's just get to the T. Tactical caps or berets? Which one you prefer?
I prefer the beret, and the reason I prefer the beret.
Wow.
And here's what I'll tell you. The tactical cap. I'm all about a tactical cap within reason, because when you put that beret on your head, it's like a wool sock, right? It's hot. It's not conducive for certain areas and things that you're in. So I believe that the tactical cap should be worn in areas, where it's needed. If there's no cover, there's no whatever else to protect you from the elements and things like that. But I'm a strong advocate of culture. And, at the end of the day, if our Air Force and it came down of wearing the tactical cap, ball cap, patrol cap, whatever it is, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to stand behind this organization. But me personally, I take pride in wearing that beret, and just like, the tab on our arm with SF, people don't walk around looking for the tab SF. When they see that beret, in my opinion, that's what they look for. That's what identifies us as defenders. And, I'm proud to be a security forces defender. I take pride in it. And I take pride in people to be able to look out in a crowd and notice that I'm different, because defenders are different. And I think that there's a reason for that, right? Because of what we stand for in the organization. So I know that it's a controversial issue in some cases across our career field, but my personal opinion about it is that we need to be in the beret because of what it stands for and who we are. But I'll tell you, I've got people out here, like all the Ramstein 86, they all wear berets. My current commander, as soon as he got here a couple of weeks ago, said the same thing, wear berets. But, in elements, when there's not a cover at the gate, when there's whatever else, or in the training environment or things that they need to do, then we'll authorize that accordingly.
Yes, sir.
Wow, you see, what's crazy?
I'm about to run
looking
through a
at
brick wall here.
I'm looking at all
I
the
know.
comments, and I see a lot of people on the team berets. And it doesn't seem like a lot. If anybody out there is on team tactical caps, go ahead and put that in there as well, because I want to know if anybody is, because it seems like everybody that just commented all wants the berets.
I think it depends on the environment. You know what I'm saying? Y'all already know, we already had this conversation. I'm team beret. You know what I mean? But again, if the elements would make it better for the airmen, for the people to wear that tactical cap in that specific time, then yeah, wear it. You know what I'm saying? But if we talk about on a regular basis, and if we would go left or right, then team beret all day. But like I said, I think if it allows for them to wear it as a health piece, or when it comes to combating the environment, then yeah, wear the cap.
Hey, Chief, if I could segue to a different thing. So I always thought that I could sing, and everybody tells me I can't, but I think I can.
Take me out. Take me out of this episode right now.
What you mean? You can't sing? Yeah. I think I can sing. When I'm in the car, I sound good. And then when I'm in the house by myself, I sound really good. So when did you first realize that you could sing?
So my whole entire family, Pete, is musically inclined. So my family, I grew up in a musical family. Chief Counsel probably remembers this. I mean, my great-grandfather is in the Library of Congress for his fiddle folklore ability. I played violin for 17 years. My family and I, we're all, at one of us, whether you sing, whether you play some type of instrument or what have you. Also went to an art school for the first couple of years in high school as well. And as you heard me say earlier, I had the opportunity to sing with Disney a little bit through high school, and then a little bit after high school. And then obviously Tops and Blue, and then I still every now and then I'll get on the mic and sing and do stuff around when I need to. But singing for me is my life. I love music, and honestly, if you listen to my playlist, you'll be like, "Damn, what kind of music did this guy like?" Because you'll hear me listening to hard rap, all the way to country, all the way to R&B, to rock. Right? I mean, I'm just all over the place, and I don't even have like a set playlist. I put it on shuffle and I just let it go, because that's truly, kind of who I am.
That's what's up. So how many songs you got on your playlist right now? If you said in your library right now, estimate how many songs in your music library?
Around 4,500.
4,500. So out of all 4,500 songs on your library, as anywhere in that category or anywhere in that list, is there an artist named Tom McDonald?
No.
All right, 4,500 songs. No Tom McDonald. Check. Roger that. Track it.
Go and look them up. Hey, you gotta add them all to your playlist.
Look, man, if we gotta look them up, that means something wrong.
I'm gonna write. Mike, you got my word. I'm writing that down right now. I got a little piece of paper here.
You won't be sorry.
Yeah,
you won't be sorry.
Don't do it.
You will be sorry. You will be sorry.
Don't do it.
Yeah, just make sure.
Mike,
just
great
make
minds think alike, Mike.
Yeah. Just make sure
Great
you
minds
know
think
that
alike.
Pete
I was
made
going
that
to say, do you
recommendation.
know of an artist named Dax?
Dax, 3 letters. See, I was gonna ask that. DAX. Go ahead. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Right.
Rhymes
Look,
with Ajax.
4,500 songs, no Tom McDonald. That's all I needed to hear right now.
Okay.
My man.
That was it right there.
Hey, Chief, back on the singing thing. Who got you into the tops and blues? I mean, because that's kind of, I think, rare for a cop to go into a duty like that. Especially, I'm not sure where you were in your career when you went there, but usually it's like focused on CDCs and deployments and stuff like that. Really didn't have a lot of time. So who got you there? Or who told you that would be an opportunity?
It was very unique. I mean, I was stationed at Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. I had been in our Air Force 10 months.
Oh, wow.
I tried out Tops and Blue. I went to Tops and Blue as an A1C. It's interesting, too, because my commander, so how it all happened is Tops and Blue came to my base. And as you all remember, normally when they would come, or the band or Air Force Entertainment or what have you, they would ask for volunteers, right? So I see these little flyers and all these things around. And I went there, and I had also met a guy. He's now out of our Air Force, but I met a guy there at Anderson who had toured with Tops and Blue before, who had kind of told me about it, right? So I went there, kind of helped him set up, watched the show. And honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, man, I've never, I'm a singer, but I don't dance and do all that stuff. I mean, I know how to dance, but I don't do the type of dances that they were doing, right? And it was just like, hey, this maybe not be for me. And all that to say, they were giving out applications, and I filled out my application, and I went into my commander with my first sergeant and got permission to go. And it's funny because he was like, yeah, I'll let you go. No problem. They pay for it. No issue.
Okay.
Enjoy your week in San Antonio. And I went down there for a week. And then, back then, I mean, you knew within a week if you were selected. So I get back to Anderson, and I'm 20 years old, and walk into my commander's office and just to thank him for allowing me. And he stands up from behind his desk. He's like, damn, I've never met a singing cop before. He was like, congratulations. He's like, you've been selected for the team. And you leave in a month. And that was kind of it, And I mean, honestly, with Tops and Blue, I'll share this with y'all just to say, and I think this is, just to kind of show you who I am, and just kind of what you see is what you get. When you get down there to the auditions for Tops and Blue at the time, they kind of put these little nice platters out, and they have you draw like pieces of paper off this platter. And you draw like, there's 3 nights of shows. You got show 1, show 2, and show 3 nights in a row. And my ass goes up to the plate and draws show 1, act 1. So I was the first person, and there were 78 male vocalists that auditioned that year. And they selected 8 of us. And I sang His Eyes on the Sparrow by Lauryn Hill. Had on a clean white suit. And
that's my jam.
And I just blew it down, and found out I was selected. And that's just kind of how it went on from there, bud.
That's what's up.
That's awesome.
Unique opportunity. Pete, you said that's your jam?
That's my jam. Y'all want me to sing?
No, definitely not.
No, we good.
Yeah, go ahead.
The fact that you said that's my jam worries me.
Because it was on Sister Act 2. It was on Sister Act 2. That's where I remember it from.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You got it. That's my jam. All right, track it.
Please do it.
No, Big Mike said
So
no. So
if one is like, I'm pretty good with the drums. When I went to
this ain't Garage Band or whatever it's called. This ain't the video game.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Fall back, partner. So I went to the desert, and the chaplain was looking for somebody to be on the praise and worship team. And so, as Pete just gave away, I'm pretty good rock band, level 10. It says on the box, if you achieve level 8, you're like pretty much an advanced drummer. So when I got behind the boards, I just started playing. The chaplain was staring at me. He was pretty upset, like I was making a joke out of the audition.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I'm like, sir, I'm like level 8, level 10 rock band, sir. Like, I'm pretty good at drums. I mean, I don't know how to toss them up, but I was pretty good,
Yeah.
Hey,
rock band, huh?
Yeah. He like a level 30 on Rock Band. Been playing every day. Like, you see all the video games. He good on the Rock Band. Soon as it was the real band, they were like, yo, get him off the band.
He was part of making the band. That's what he was on.
Yeah, that's what it was. Hey, Philly.
He said making a band.
That cheesecake.
Hey, Philly,
Yeah,
we got a question, and I'm gonna put it up there, and I want you to read it, and then you can read who it's from, okay?
All right, good. Let me read it because you need hooked on phonics. Work for me. Oh, it's from my gal, Wendy Council, the greatest lady in the world. Chief Goff, you mentioned what inspired you to join the Air Force. What has been your most memorable experience during your time in service? Additionally, what advice do you have for young troops? From my gal, Wendy Council. She's fine, y'all. Man, I'm about to get off this podcast right now.
Hey, man. Hey,
this is a PG-13.
Hey, celebrate your wife, bro. Go ahead and keep doing your thing, Philly. Go ahead and do that.
Well, first of all, let me give a shout out to Miss Wendy. Miss Wendy's special to me just because, her and Dana both, used to spend time with my mom when we were together in D.C. and my mom just loved you, Wendy. And, unfortunately, my mom's passed away. But she used to always say how beautiful you were. And so I just want to give you a shout out and say thanks for everything that you do in the capacity. I know where you were out at DM. You did a lot for our airmen, and I'm confident you're doing the same thing while you're back in San Antonio with Chief Counsel. But you asked me what has been my most memorable experience during my time in service. It's really hard to kind of narrow it down just because there's been so many great experiences in our Air Force that's been huge for me. But I will tell you, one that always, sticks in my mind and will forever. And it's in there for a specific reason. And I'll try to talk about it without getting emotional. Is while I was in Afghanistan in 2018 as the command first sergeant for Combined Joint Special Operations Air Component Afghanistan. So I was a special ops first sergeant with about 500 special operators underneath me. I had a young man by the name of Staff Sergeant J.D. Day, combat controller, who unfortunately, second week in July, stepped on an IED and lost his leg, some fingers, and some things that were there. And it was a turning point for me on that deployment, just laying there with him in the hospital through multiple surgeries, being there with him till we could get him on a flight back to Walter Reed, back to Washington, D.C. The reason why it was so powerful, and I haven't shared other than, JD, who if he was on here, he could share and do is, a year prior, I had lost my mother. And those that know me know how important my mother was to me. And just being honest with y'all, just being real and raw, at that time in Afghanistan, a year later, after her death, in a very kinetic environment, I really didn't feel like living. I didn't want to kind of be who I was. I was just lost without my mom. And here I was a year later in Afghanistan. And, I remember the night specifically that I went to bed and I just kind of said in my head, like, hey, this is it. I don't even know if I really want to live anymore, right? And I just had it in my head, like, hey, I could do something to myself. They would find me. We carry our guns everywhere. Like, literally, that's just what a dark place I was in, even though I was a first sergeant, right? With 500 folks, underneath me, just relying on me. And I'll never forget that knock at the door and joining my commander and going out on the flight line at Bagram when those two Blackhawks came across the mountain and landed with my airmen on there, right? And it was just moving for me because it was that split moment. Even though it was something bad that had happened, I looked at this 25-year-old man that whole life was turned upside down, right? Given so much for his country. And I'll fast forward the tape because obviously I kept in touch with JD. But the most memorable moment was a year and 2 months later when I promoted to senior master sergeant. And this young man made his way from Walter Reed in Washington, D.C. Because I told him that I wanted him to be there to pin me on senior master sergeant. Yeah. And I will tell you just the last time I saw JD was when I put him in the back of that C-17 and closed it, and the chaplain was there praying for all my special tactics people. The next time I saw him was walking across the stage, with a prosthetic on and pinning me on my ring, and it was just one of those things that, just makes you realize life, right? And the things that happen around you. I was in a very dark place, but it took someone else's, story, something happening to someone else to try to change my trajectory and make me think differently about life and what's important in life. So I would say that's my most memorable. And JD is now out of our Air Force doing great things in Oregon. But those days when I'm in a dark place or if I'm still feeling depressed or things hit me from things that I've experienced throughout my life, and Chief Counsel knows a lot of it from things that I went through as a young staff sergeant, the way I lost my father. I think about JD. I think about that young man whose life has changed forever, but he still has a smile on his face and he's still getting after it. So that motivates and inspires me to keep going and pushing me no matter how hard or how dark it gets, that I can just keep going and keep pressing on. And the last question she had was, what advice do you have for young troops? The biggest advice I have is just be yourself. I will tell you that for 18 years of my career, I wasn't myself. I put on a mask. I was somebody that I wasn't. And I wore, the uniform is like a shield. And I was almost fake to some people, and there's some people that probably know my first 10, 11 years of my career that would probably say he was an asshole. He was one type of way, right? And I regret that. That's a regret that I do, is not really being true to who I was. And it had nothing to do with the sexuality thing. Even though I couldn't be who I was for, 10 years with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. It was just so many things that I just felt like I had to be somebody that I was not, right? And I will say right now in our Air Force, and this goes back to just those personal connections, is every one of the young women and men that come in this organization is somebody's son, daughter, husband, wife, cousin, best friend, whatever. And they volunteered to come in here, right? And yes, we took them through basic training, 8 or 9 weeks, and converted them from civilian into airmen. But, we, and I say this, and this is why I take so much, I try to focus so much on it, is getting to know what makes those people tick, right? Understanding who they are, them being able to be honest with themselves, who they are, because them living their true self and being who they are is I believe, our greatest strength in our military, right? Because they don't need a lot of Chad Vancleave-Goffs, right? They don't need 2 or 3 of me. We need that diversity of thought. We need to know the things that are around there, how people think, how people tick, and what motivate them. So for these young troops that come in, just be yourself. Know that there are leaders out there that believe in you and want you to reach your full potential. But we're not a fool to think that there are people out there that don't want that. They try to make people's lives live in hell. And I'm just being real with you. But I would also say that keep driving on. Find out whatever it is that motivates you and inspires you. Remember the reason that you started, and reach out to those people that make you better. And as long as you keep doing that, the world is yours. The potential's out there. You just got to go after and get after it.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you saying that. You must have read my mind, and so did Jess. And I'm gonna go ahead and read her comment. We got 2 up there. I'm gonna read Jess. And she said, you are a respected leader within our force. With a diverse background like yours, how do you continue to grow and develop as a leader? And I'm gonna add on to your comment, Jess, if you don't mind. Because we talked about a couple of times, and I said on a couple of shows, I was fortunate enough to be a part of that the DEI movement when it first started at Luke. And it's still challenges moving into it. It's been challenges, like you said, the first 10 years of your career, because we know back then Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a thing, right? Mm-hmm. But yet our core values is integrity. One of our core values is integrity. In order for you to have 100% integrity, you got to be able to say and be yourself, right? But then we have Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and we're not allowing people to be themselves. So for you to be, like you said, is such an influential leader, and you said the 18 years you had to be somebody else. How has you being a part of the LGBTQIA community, How has that impacted your career? Has it impacted your career? And what would you say that experience was at that point to be able to say and be who you know you were?
Good question, Mike.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit this twofold. So first and foremost, how do I continue to grow as a develop as a leader? Is I put myself in the uncomfortable. I put myself in the uncomfortable, and it sucks because you're uncomfortable, and maybe you don't know how to respond, maybe you don't know what to say, but it is in those moments, in my opinion, where you grow the most, right? And if you notice, I said 18 years, been in 21 years. The thing that changed for me, now there were people that knew about Chad Goff, about maybe I got to know you and I came out, or people maybe saw me out at the bar, maybe, you know, was gossiping about me that, hey, this guy may be gay or what have you. But it wasn't until the George Floyd murders that I physically came out and was able to share who I was. And let me explain to you why. I had 2 Facebook pages. I had 2 Instagrams. I had a straight one and a gay one. I lived 2 lives. And when the George Floyd case happened, I was an aircraft maintenance first sergeant, and just having to sit down and have those crucial, critical conversations. And I mean, my mind was just blown and opened up to so many different things that, like, I was just blown away. I just really had no idea about it, right? And just listening and hearing what some of our airmen were going through. And there were days I would get off and I would walk into my house in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. And teammates, I would feel like I was walking in quicksand as soon as I walked in my house. That's how heavy it felt on me. And I would say to myself, Chad, how are you living a life of oppression and went through this and being fake and doing all this and things that you've had to just act different and couldn't be this way, having to do certain ways. And yes, it's not the same, but in some ways it is the same. You need to be real with who you are. People want to see the genuine, authentic you, right? And also, I just, had recently got with my now spouse, and it was unfair to him, right? Because I was being fake. I was having to beat around the bush and not really share about who I was. And he didn't understand that because he came in after Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I'll tell you, team, when I came out and combined Facebook pages and put it on there, this is authentically me. I purposely looked at my friends list of the amount of numbers of friends that I had. And then the day later, I checked back on there, and there was like 60 people gone away, right? Wow. And all that did was prove to me, that there were different people out there that, hey, they're going to judge me by a certain thing. And the reality is that being gay, yes, I'd say it right now on this podcast and everything else. If I could change it, when people say, oh, it's a choice or what have you, I would change it immediately. And I believe in God. Jesus Christ is my Father, and people that know me. And I mean, hell, my family's try to pray it away, try to do everything away from me, right? It's not a choice. I know God loves me and I continue on. But the reality is about this is that, even though being gay is about 5% of who I am as a person, some people will use that as like one of the damaging things about me to use against me, right? And that's the thing that I would tell you, like when you say in the LGBTQ community, has it helped me? Absolutely. These last 3 or 4 years, being able to just be authentically me and who I am, I think is awesome because I look back at the burden that I carried for so long. The other thing is when, I had a straight staff sergeant walk into my office a few months back, and this man was just shedding tears. And he said, you know what, Chief? He said, I never thought in a million years that I would have a female commander, a female first sergeant, and a gay chief. And I was like, wow. And he was like, where I grew up, gays wasn't accepted. My sister's gay. Women were beat down on. Women were just the ones that were supposed to grind and be behind the scenes and, being like servants, if you will, and things like that. And he said, now look at you, right? Look at this. Like, this is just awesome. And this is a straight guy, right? Coming in and telling me this. So I share that with you to say that, it's not easy still. I feel like I'm always trying to come out and trying to be who I am. But being real and being authentic, I think that's what people want. That's what makes you connect with people is when you're your authentic self. I don't talk any different. I don't try to act any different. And that's the thing. I look at, going back to the George Floyd case when some of our airmen were like, I was having to talk proper. I couldn't talk in a certain slang. I couldn't be the way I was. And I was like, stop it. Stop that, right? Be who you are, right? Be who you are. Nothing says that you got to change that, right? I mean, yes, there is a time and place that I'm sure if we turn this live off and we weren't live, we could have some conversations, right? That we know when to say things and when to not. Knowing your audience, right? Because we are a professional organization and knowing the things that we need to do. But we shouldn't have to change who we are or how we are just because of an organization that we're in. Because quite frankly, and I've said this, if the Air Force wants me to truly change who I am and just being my real authentic self, then maybe I don't need to be here.
Yeah. I really appreciate that.
Mic drop.
Philly, you talked about it. We talked about it a few times about just being. I think people get confused, right, when you hear about a place or an organization being diverse, and it's about the face. Oh yeah, we diverse. We got Black, we got Hispanic, we got white, That's not diversity. Diversity is being able to incorporate who you are and where you come from and those different things and how the organization works. That's the diversity piece. It ain't about because we got people that look different. What are you bringing different to the fight behind who you are? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's what we got to understand. It's about bringing those different experiences from New Jersey, from Cali, from Philly, from Mississippi. It's about bringing those different experiences and bringing them to the fight and making us stronger as an enterprise, as a team. And I can imagine. I don't know how it feels to have to try to be something that I'm not or be, because it has to be a serious weight, you know what I mean? And if we teach an airman that, we teach an airman or junior NCOs that, hey, we need you to be this way and this way only. It's not integrity. Like I said before, your integrity is doing what's right when nobody's looking, being yourself 100% and not pretending, being true, right? In order for you to be true, you got to be who you are.
Absolutely.
So, I definitely appreciate that. I know it's people watching appreciating you saying that and just being authentic with that answer, because there's somebody out there still pretending not to, pretending to be somebody else and not being their authentic self. And God knows what kind of stress they're going through, right? Getting up every day trying to put that mask on and be somebody else. It's got to be stressful.
One thing I would offer just with a mask, just because I'm so passionate about it, is. Yeah, we're talking about DEIA right now, but even the mask of when you're going through something in your life, right? Oh, yeah. So many times I put on a mask, I smile and act like everything's fine. And vulnerability is strength. I just want to say that out there to people, right? We all hurt, myself included, right? About things that we're going through in our lives. And I just think about me, right? But when we talk about our young troop and our airmen that are coming in our Air Force at 18, 19, maybe even a 39-year-old, to think that they haven't been through some type of trauma or some type of loss or some type of whatever, it's our job to be able to peel that onion back so they can trust us enough to be vulnerable so we know those things that we can help them through, right? So they do feel comfortable taking off that mask and being who they are so they can share with us, the things that they've experienced in their past, because that helps us better understand who they are and lead them better. And that's, again, going back to why I try to connect with people, right? It's just taking that mask off, letting people see like, yeah, this is what happened to you, right? I mean, I tell people all the time, and I don't have to go into detail on this podcast, but any defender that's out there listening, I'm a chief in our Air Force, security forces with a TSSCI, but my father was murdered in 2011, shot and killed. I was on the DNA roster. I had my weapon taken from me. I was in a very dark place, lost from everything, right? And if it wasn't for leaders that camped around me and took care of me, I wouldn't be here today. But I just want to tell you that if you're struggling out there with something, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to people out there, right? Because we've all been in some dark places. And I don't say that for people to pity me, but I want people to know that, hey, real recognizes real. Be authentic, be who you are. We're here to help you get through whatever it is. We're not here to turn it against you and use it against you.
Absolutely. Appreciate that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chad, look, man, I appreciate everything you just said. I just got two questions for you real quick before we run out of time. So we're on the horizon of AFSA coming up here in August. And I've been to like at least 2-3 AFSA events in my seat. And so every time we have AFSA, you have the former Chief Master Sergeant Air Force arrive along with the sitting Chief Master Sergeant Air Force. They usually have a panel.
And so one that's usually not present is former CMSgt Cody. So we are, I'm gonna ask this question, man. I'm sure there's other people out there in the audience, inquiring minds want to know. There are a lot of folks in the Air Force community that kind of have a specific feeling about former CMSgt Cody, especially in comparison to former CMSgt Wright and the current CMSgt Bass. Mm-hmm. So you work for him. What is your opinion about former CMSgt Cody, good and bad? I want all the team. Let's go.
So tell me why Jessica said you're about to get banned.
Hey, I had to make sure. I had to make sure. Hey, hold up. Hey, Pete. Before he answers, put the disclaimer right back out there, okay?
Hold on. I can't why you got that thing up.
My bad. Hey, anything that comes from Unpopular Celebrities podcast is all unofficial. None of the conversations or comments from us or guests represent DOD or armed forces. That's all I need to say.
Now I know why I just got off this one. I want
to answer the fact. Hey, it's a legitimate question.
You can move it,
Let's
bro.
get to it, Chad. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So I'm gonna be flat out, and I'm sure this for people that may not agree. I spent 4 years of my life with Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Jim Cody, right? And just like Chief, with you and those of you that have been in rooms and you have a personal relationship with your commander, and people see your commander through one light, but when you go behind the counter, behind the curtain, it's different. This is what I will say, and this probably will make people feel differently. The things that are said about Chief Cody, people are just cruel, right? Because I can give you tons of examples, right? I can talk about all the things that people pick apart with, the online NCOA and all the other things that pick apart, and the re-enlistment extension things that he did, and maybe his candid, curt response to certain things that were going on in our Air Force. And how he was the only Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force that overturned our enlisted evaluation system, the first since Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force number 9. He had the courage and the grit to work through to make it happen. What I would tell you about Chief Cody is that, and if he were on this podcast right now, and I still talk to him, I still text him, I still talk to him, what I will say is, he has another life outside of the Air Force. And while I was with the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, there was a couple other Chief Master Sergeants of the Air Force. I won't give their names or their numbers. The same way, we would maybe only see them once every couple years, sometimes once. I saw one of them once every 3 years that I was there, right? So Chief has his own career, his own life. He got a brand new grandchild once he got out, and has started that. And Chief lost his mom the year right before he got out, which hit him pretty hard, right? And there were a lot of things that were going on. But if you're asking me personally, my experience with Chief Cody, I would work for him again in a heartbeat. And I owe a lot to that man, because just being a fly on the wall and the experiences that he allowed me to do, because he took a chance on me. He didn't know me. He hired me as a tech sergeant, security forces guy from Andrews Air Force Base, had no idea who I was, and took a chance on me, right? And he kept me around and has now developed me and allowed me the opportunity to be able to pour back in to our airmen and to our organization. Now, what I will say is, do I agree with every policy and everything that changed under his tenure? Absolutely not, right? And I will say that, right? But I will also say is that sometimes, and I'll give you the prime example, Chief Bass right now, with everything going on with these PCS moves and pauses and everything, she will have to carry that for the rest of her career, right? Chief Cody and General Welsh going through sequestration and the things that happened in 2013 and all the cuts and the different things. And I'm not going to sit here and speak to some of the private conversations that I was privy to during Coronas and during things that went through, but that was the cards that they were dealt. I would say the things that could have been different is communication. Right? I mean, you look at it right now. Our airmen found out 24 hours before this PCS pause, right? Do you think we could have put it out 2 months ago when maybe we were putting up to Congress, hey, we need to move some money around? Probably. I don't know. But one would think, right? So what I will tell you is that Chief Cody is not the person that people paint him to be. What I will tell you is he's very candid. He's born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. People from the Northeast sometimes are not as nice and kind of cuddly, you know, as we would want them to be. And honestly, when he was around chiefs or around senior enlisted leaders, he treated them as peers and like, hey, this is all one team. Let's just have a conversation. He wasn't a coddler, right? And I'll just use this as the last thing I'll say is, you know, when leaders pick leaders that they want next to them, you look at General Welsh. General Welsh was a hugger. He was the one out there, the big hoorah cheerleader, everything else. Chief Cody was the methodical one, the one thinking behind the scenes, doing the things behind the scenes that kind of move our force and our enlisted force forward. Now, fast forward, General Goldfein came in. The roles were flipped. General Goldfein was methodical, moving, bringing the joint force together, going behind. And Chief Wright was the hugger, right? He was the right Chief Master Sergeant of our Air Force at the time to bring it forward, right? So again, do I think Chief Cody's perfect? Absolutely not, right? But do I think that he is the way that people paint him and the way that he's made out to be? No. And Chief, to answer your question, I really hope that he's at AFSA this year. I'm actually planning to text him because this is my first AFSA that I'm going to since I left his office, just because of work and operations, everything. And I'm fortunate because my commander is allowing me to take two, a junior NCO and a junior brand new A1C from my formation to AFSA to just get to pour into them with that opportunity, that professional development. So I appreciate you asking the question. I get asked about that all the time. Chief Cody, though, is not the person that he's painted to be.
That's what's up. That's Chief. I'll actually be an hey, so it'd be
so let me just ask something real quick.
Why Philly's interrupting?
Let me just ask something real quick. Let me just before we run out of time. So first, Chad, thank you for the honest and heartfelt answer. I think one point you made, I want to highlight. Like case in point, when Chief Bass was on her Facebook page and she posted pictures about Scott Air Force Base, there was a couple of folks on there that kind of jumped in and kind of like got on her for posting pictures because of what's going on with the PCS moves and stuff. Mm-hmm. And what you said was so important. Like these leaders, us included, even Dell, Big Mike, those in leader roles, we get put in positions where there are things that happen we can't control. That's out of our control. And the only thing we can do is communicate and execute. Right. And at times, young folks, the airmen, they're not privy to what's going on behind closed doors. So they just assume that, you know, you can prevent it from happening. And it's a lot of things that come with that. And so with Chief Cody, when former Sim Staff Cody made those decisions, you said it right there. He was using what he was given to kind of do the best he felt like was for the Air Force. And it's no different than every other Sim Staff or any other leader. So I thought that was important to highlight. So I do want to say, folks that's listening, I want to say, I just want to say real quick for folks listening to that is that if you're in the chat and you hear the folks talk about, you know, these different decisions, there's more to it than what you may know. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
I just want to say real quick. So just a case in point about Chief Cody and his heart. We were on our way to headed to PACAF, right, as I was towards the end of his tour. And it came out on CNN that Senator McCain and the Senate Armed Services Committee was going to be taking dual PAH from meal to meal couples, right? Chief Cody stepped out of his office and canceled his trip to go over there so he could be the first senior enlisted advisor with the SEAC, with everything, to be over there to fight for our military folks, right? People don't know that, like, and that's just one example that I will say, right? And there were so many others, right? That things were there, that behind the scenes that things were happening. Because Chief Cody didn't want to cut tuition assistance. Chief Cody didn't want to, you know, change us to online, you know, distance learning. But when Congress came down and said, hey, your PME budget's been cut $5 million, make it happen. You got 60 days to do it, right? I mean, there were things, but again, this goes back to the communication piece, Chief, is I think we could do a little bit better with everything, right, of communicating some of those challenges to let people see, like, hey, here's what we've been dealt. This is what we're working through, versus when it gets time to execution and leaving people questioning about what's going on.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I like to hear stories like that because it's ironic that those stories don't get out all the time. All the negativity will get out there. I think Big Mike said it. Negativity has a lot bigger influence or bigger impact than positivity, especially on social media nowadays. And it's unfortunate that that's how it is. What I was saying for Philly interrupt me, that I'll be in I'll be at Absent too, along with Jess. So hopefully we can get a picture together. Make sure we out there celebrate. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be really cool. DC, I see that face. What you got to say?
Let me jump on this.
I'm gonna let Big Mike go ahead. I'm gonna let Big Mike go ahead.
I was just gonna read Dooley's question, man. He said, in the career field that is male dominant, and we lack a lot of female chiefs who are actively serving as 3P SCL spots. Also, we know it takes years to build a chief. What advice do you have for our young female airmen who are up and coming that are grinding in this male dominant career field to keep pressing?
Damn, dude, keep it short, bro. God damn, bro.
He wrote a whole essay.
He went on Chat GTP, man.
He probably did.
Right. That's a very good question. And honestly, with this, female defender initiative that Chief Bass just did a call in, she was with our female defenders, and I was one of the male, chiefs that was on the line, and a couple of the males that were out there. What I would offer to our female defenders is that things are changing, not as quickly as I would like to see. But I will tell you that as a leader in security forces, and who just had a female commander, female first sergeant, female, things that were around there and done, is that times are changing. I would say, find you a lot of times. What I've seen is, and I have a lot of troops that they consider me their mentor that are females. I'm working on helping one right now with her EPB. She's stationed down in Moody, and I won't give her name, but somebody that's been a troop of mine I've taken care of forever. But a lot of times females come to me and they will say this: hey, I don't have a female leader I can lean on. I don't have a female chief. I don't have anybody that's there. And what I would offer to them is that find you a male mentor, that will welcome you in and that will help you and carry you through. Because sometimes I will say that there's a barrier where, young females feel like they can't talk to a male. And I think the males need to work on that, like breaking that barrier down, because maybe they're more comfortable talking to males versus females. But this goes back to just being authentic and being real and who you are. Like, I really try to break down those walls and connect with those female troops, connect with all of them. But I think when I talk to female troops that really don't have somebody to lean on, is that there are male chiefs, there are male, senior master sergeants, people out there that will put you under their wing and carry you through. Now, can we relate to you on some of the challenges that you're dealing with as a female, maybe the discrimination, some of the childcare issues, some of the things that are there? No. But what we can do is meet you halfway and see how we can, do what we can in our sphere of influence to make your life, to make your career a little better. I can say in my unit, and I know my seniors on here right now, I have a female senior master sergeant, operations superintendent, and I'm very open. When we get new airmen in, with all of them, what's your challenges? Do you have childcare issues? Do you have whatever? We just don't say, hey, we got an opening in mids, you're going to mids. We don't do that, right? We peel the onion back. What is your challenges? What are your things are there? And we see if we can meet them halfway, so we can at least try to take care of them along the way. And for most times we're able to. There may be some times that we can't, but I think that that's the start.
Yeah, absolutely, man, 100%. We had a good one in there. As a female CC, a fellow female CC likes to say, SF is not male dominated, it's male populated. Domination is still up for debate.
I like that, actually.
That's my old wing woman, my commander, Lieutenant Colonel Cassandra Bates, which was awesome. I miss her. But yeah, I agree with that.
That's an awesome saying. I ain't heard that one before. That was dope. Yeah, put that on the wall. That was dope right there. I like that. Hey, Chief Goff, before we get off, we said we're gonna circle around to this. So if I have to remove one of our members from this, I will during this discussion. But how was Philly DC Council as a supervisor? How was that? And then Philly, if you want to say, how was Chad Goff, Chief Goff? I guess you were the chief then, as a troop.
So I'll start out and just say, and I talk about this all the time. It's not because he's here on this line. One thing about Dana Council is he empowered me. I was a tech sergeant. I was the ops NCO. our NCOIC of Ops deployed. And it was very difficult for me. And Chief Counsel knew, he was senior at the time, knew it was difficult for me dealing with the Master Sergeant, flight chiefs, and everything. But he empowered me and he gave me the opportunity to be able to lead and make decisions, right? And Chief Counsel and I had a lot of sit downs. And he mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on the thing. But I remember one day, he would always come in my office talking about my uniform. Because even to this day, I just did it before I got on this podcast because I take pride in what I do as an American airman. I iron my uniform, right?
Me too.
So I iron my uniform every single day. And I came in there, I was so clean, cleaner than a pot of potted green, a pot of greens, right? And Chief Counsel came in my office. I would have stuff sewn down, my pockets, everything clean on the ABUs. And he'd be like, man, I gotta change my game, Chad. I gotta bring it up. And one day he walked in my office, stood in the door like he always does, leaning up. And I looked up at him and the ABUs was clean. It was pressed. It was nice. But I looked at his function badge and my man had on a services. He didn't have on a cop one. And it was from that moment, and Chief, I know you say this, and I'm humbled by this. You told people throughout, you being a senior and a chief, and I don't know if it was because of that moment or what, but people have came up to me and people would say, hey, Dana Counsel said you're his mentor. And I was a tech sergeant, right? And that was huge. And that's one of the things that I want to give a plug about is that a mentor doesn't have to be someone that outranks you, someone that's older than you, younger than you, or whatever else. Chief Counsel said he's my mentor. And I'll say to this day about being uncomfortable. There are airmen and there are folks that I reach out to, young, old, officer enlisted, retirees or not, that I reach out to and that I emulate, I want to be like, or that I lean on. So I would just offer that, Chief Counsel was awesome. I'm not just saying that because he's here, but he empowered me. And I think that we need more of that in our Air Force. I've been very fortunate to work around leaders that give me the autonomy to lead. And Dana Counsel was one of those people. So Chief, I appreciate you. But go ahead. How was it, with me? I think I know what he's going to say, but go ahead.
Wait, DC, before you go, did you correct him about his services function badge or just kind of let it ride for the rest of the day?
No, DC had on the services function badge.
Right.
I corrected him immediately. I said, hey, man, step over here. I said, why the hell you got on the function badge? He was like, oh, shit. And he ran right there into the BX. He said, let me go change this uniform.
Man, I wish you would have took a picture of that.
That's a good one.
All right. Well, first off, shout out to all the services folks out there. I got nothing but respect for folks that work in services. We have a services center inside IMSC. So nothing but respect for services, but I am not services. And then also, I'm having a Rick James moment. I don't remember that, but no, seriously, that did happen. I was pretty proud of myself because I thought I had Chad that day. I got a new uniform on, got everything sold down. I said, let me show him how we do it back in the day. Until I showed up and he pointed it out. Man, it was pretty embarrassing. Luckily, the flights didn't see it. So that would have been And then shameless note, Pete, you never iron your uniform. Your uniform look like a bag of shit every day.
Man, you crazy. You crazy. They go. Hey,
I had to teach you how to sew. I had to teach you how to iron your uniform, bro. Let's just throw it out there.
Man, you crazy.
True, you jumped out of a plane, rolled down the hill, and brushed yourself off and came to work.
And he tried to use that K9 as an excuse. He tried to use that K9.
Hey, don't do it. Hey, don't worry. I got some stories about DC too in his uniform.
Chad, but seriously, before I forget, Chad, no cap though, but Chad was one of the best NCOs I ever worked with, man. When we was in JBA, we had so many problems with like young troops not hitting the barrier. That's when we had a lot of gate runners at JBA. And I tell you, man, Chad, when he went out there coming from elite gate guard, he whipped them dudes into shape. If I needed some like true feedback and somebody to get something done, it was always Chad. And the troops freaking loved that dude. And I'm telling you, he had so many people that was at JBA that would come to his office seeking his counsel and mentorship. It was crazy. He made me even more popular because when I came in, I was like the hammer. But when they knew that Chad was in my section, things was a little bit easier for me, especially with Clifford Young back there, because Clifford Young was a little bit psycho. If Clifford out there is listening, love you.
Damn. Okay.
Yo, Chad, do you remember? I don't know if you remember. Remember that time when Clifford and West Lawrence was about to fight in the hallway? I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if Wes is
Mike,
listening,
what are
but
we walking into
one of these
right
days,
I
I'll
don't
tell the
know.
story when Cliff and Wes was about to fight in the hallway. Wes Lawrence, he's the chief for all the DAs out there. He was a little grimy back then. He from Philly too. So
People about
What
to
y'all
fight.
doing
What kind of environment was y'all
Yeah.
fostering over there? You got people fighting
Going
in
down over there in
hallways.
DC.
You got senior mass sergeants wearing the wrong function badge. What's going on under that leadership? What was going on over there?
I see some people in the comments. No, sorry, young too. So you know, Cliff and young. Man, I tell
You
you.
done put that man on blast, man.
Oh man, yeah,
That's what's up, though. It's always good to be able to have those type of environments in the unit, though, man. But them uniform days, we could probably have a whole nother show about that. We need. We talked about pro beret and pro patrol cap. I'm pro go back to BDUs.
My man, me too.
Let's go back to BDUs. The BDUs and the black boots.
Mike, before we go further, and if I had to take them off, but I remember the story about one of our members on here, but we had a recall, PACAF recall, and this is for exercise. This is for exercise. So we all show up, and I was working in the training section. We were there first, right? Here come one of these members on the podcast. He comes up in there, and his uniform looks like it's straight out the washer without the dryer. Like it just looked so. I mean, it got every crease in the world in it, and we was like, "Yo, sorry, council man, what's up?" Oh, see, I already said the name. You was like, "Yo, what's up?" He was like, "Yo, it's a recall, man. You know, shit, shave, shower, come." So that's how I showed up. I was like, "Man, it look like you got mortar attacked on the way over here." Hey, did you rush it and roll the whole way over here? I mean,
you gonna do that, man, like that, man?
Yo, I'm telling you, it was the funny. He's like, "You think I should go home and change?" Like, you hear that? You hear that?
You gonna let him get away with that, Philly?
That's the truth. It looked like he rushed and rolled the whole way over there because it's the day recall. Like I'm up, they see me, I'm down the whole way from housing, all the way across the street.
I'm gonna wait till you finish. It's like double Dutch. I'm just waiting to get in. First of all, it's a recall. So if any defender knows when you get recalled, you just throw in a uniform. You don't have time to iron it and put stay flow and stuff on it. So I came as a war fighter, something you don't know about, partner.
You don't know about partner.
Tell him, man. Dell, you know. You're a young Dell, you know, man. Tell
You're
him.
right. No, I agree. Recall, you throw it on, you roll out.
You could have picked a different uniform. Like you could have picked one that was dried at least, the one that you at least had just dried off.
Hey, how you know he just said he could have just separated his clothes, get ready to do the laundry. It was down there. You know what I'm saying? He picked it up and rolled out.
You know what? We all would have respected the extra 10 minutes it took to put one crease in that thing. Not 1,000 creases, but just one good crease.
Hey, you ain't
all
no
we
good,
needed.
Man. You ain't no
I
good.
I could just teleport to your room and just throw a bottle of water in your face because clearly you dehydrated.
Hey, Chief Goff, did he ever throw some water on you?
No.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's just me. All right.
No, no. When Chad mentioned RBF, Chad is a little tough dude, man. So I ain't messing with that dude, man.
So in other words,
right. Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
But we did see that little boxing clip in your intro with you throwing them little jabs, man. We got to talk about that one episode, man.
Yo, you can talk. You can talk to the bag if you want to. The bag is still filled in. That bag ain't the same. That bag ain't up no more.
I don't know about that footwork you had going on. We got to talk about that, man. We're gonna talk about
the footwork was sloppy. My back foot came off the ground, man.
Don't fall for it, Mike. You ever see his picture when he plays soccer? He had a little Drake afro cut with his soccer ball like this.
Oh no, you got to put that on the page.
He ain't real,
you
ain't
ain't gonna see that. Chief, I was like 7 years old, man. I was like, nobody doing my
like a busted Drake, man. That's what you look like. Drake from the dress.
Yeah, y'all crazy, man. Nah, Chief, we definitely appreciate you being real and being 100 with us and sharing your story. Let me get myself together because my co-hosts are insane. But we definitely appreciate that. Like I said, I think that's one of the things we try to offer. And when we get guests to come up here and be real with us and just tell like it is, it's not only beneficial for us, it's beneficial for the people out there. So I personally respect and appreciate you telling your story and being raw like you said you were from the beginning. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Dale, what you got, man?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Chief. I know we just met, but it feels like I know a little bit of your story already, and I can't wait for me to go back to the SF field and bring, like you're talking about, this whole DSD and bringing stuff back to the defenders, and being an airman chief lets me know, there's still good chiefs out there willing to serve our people, and I want to do that at my level when I come back. So I appreciate you coming on. I'm sure going to shoot you that Facebook friend request here after we're done. So I appreciate all the advice and wisdom you dropped today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes.
I'm gonna let Philly. I'm gonna let you go last, man. But Chief, I'm gonna just ask you. We did this before, and I think it was a pretty good success about asking these questions. I had a couple questions that I had, and they're just you do not have to answer these, but they're just questions. And the only trick about it is you can't explain them, so you just have to answer the question in a phrase or a sentence or a word, and that's really all we get. And then we'll just take it from there. Does that make sense?
That's fine.
All right, cool. So first question is best compliment that you ever got.
Smile.
Something you wish you were better at.
Slowing down.
What will always make you smile?
My husband.
And finally, I should not save this for last, but finally, worst piece of advice you ever got.
Worst piece of advice?
Yes, sir.
Don't tell him you're gay.
Wow. Chief, like Mike said, I appreciate you coming on here and being real and just having a conversation with us. And I appreciate all the stories that we give, especially some stories just hit a little bit closer to home. And so I appreciate the stories that you shared and the things that you've been through and everything, and everything that you're going through. I just have to ask one more question we didn't get to. I know you did a single singing at Ramstein. I keep going back to the singing, but I know you were on top of a plane, and you
Correct.
did it. What was that like, and how did that happen? Real quick, short story, if you could. And then, like I said, thank you for coming on, and I'll let Philly close us out. But what was that like?
Yeah, it was. So it was our Air Force ball, and I was there, and I would Chief Charmaine Kelly. Those of you that don't know Charmaine, she's on her way to AFDW. She's going to be the command chief of Air Force District Washington. She's my command chief here. She also toured with Tops and Blue a couple years before I did. She had already asked me to sing, and basically I went over there to practice. Saw this plane in the back. There was a maintainer in there, and they were making people come through, and I was like, I wonder why they let me up there to sing. So people that know me, I'm a little extra when I go through with stuff, and I kind of asked, hey, can I do this? And they said, yeah. Cleared it with wing safety, and I had a maintainer in there to help me get up there. And I stood up there and blew the house down and did what I did. So it was awesome.
That's cool.
So you weren't like attached to the plane or anything. It was just up there.
Attached to the plane? What you mean?
Like, you wear like a little belt or like a little cable, so if you fall off, like you ain't gonna go too far.
Man, Pete, go take a nap, man. Go take a nap.
And I pull you to the side, give you a couple singing lessons.
Yeah, do that. Because apparently he think he's gonna be the Air Force next top model. So Idol, whatever the hell, next American Idol, whatever it is. But he is serious about the singing thing.
Oh, I feel like if I just apply myself like that much more, man. Hey, you gonna see me on TV?
No,
you gonna see me on TV?
We see you enough on TV right now. This what you got right now. This is enough. We don't need to see you on any more episodes, bro. Look, my man Scotty Roy said hydrate, bro. You need to hydrate.
Hey, man. Hey, Chief Roy, man. Real chill.
Man, bro, you bugging out, man.
But yeah, hey, maybe you have to hear me first. Maybe my lyrics to a lyricist will sound different, because when I do it with people who can't sing, maybe that's what it is. If I do it for somebody who can sing, it would make more sense.
You just said my lyrics to a lyricist. What that got to do with singing? What are you talking about, bro?
Mike, stop paying attention, man.
No, you quit while you not ahead. Not quit while you ahead. Quit while you not ahead, bro. Just chill out, man. You bugging. Before Philly come on, last episode I forgot to put a plug in. Y'all, everybody that know, man, even on my intro, y'all know how I feel about my family, about my kids. But right now, my youngest son, I think I told y'all, he's down in basic training, man. Got my first letter from him last week. So he is on his road. He is on his road to being another one of our American airmen in the greatest Air Force, man. So shout out to my baby boy. I know he can't see it right now. He's probably somewhere doing some push-ups But he in the 331st. I ain't gonna give his flight number because I don't want all the TIs to swarm him in here. Like, oh, your father in the military, we're gonna jump on you then. But shout out to my baby boy, man. I'm gonna be down in Texas next month too. I wish I could go to the AFSA, but I got 2 graduations. Both of my sons. My oldest son, I'm super proud of him. He's graduating OTS in the Army. He's gonna be a lieutenant. And my baby boy again, he coming in 6th year A1C, man. So shout out to both of my sons. I can't wait till next month. It's gonna be a proud moment for me and the family. But if you are the 331st, I got a son down there. I ain't telling y'all my last name. And I ain't telling y'all when y'all see him to make him do like 10 push-ups and just whisper to him, your father told me to do it. That's all.
Congratulations, Mike.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Philly, what you got, big dog?
Yeah, Chad, you know how I feel about you, bro. I appreciate you being on here, and more importantly, being, in my opinion, one of the best guests we've ever had. Like, the conversation we had today was honest, true, raw to the core, which I think is awesome. And then I'm sure everyone in the audience, including myself, we've learned a lot from everything you brought up today. So you mean the world to me, man. Good luck in all your endeavors. Look forward to seeing you wear the star one day so you can be one of us. And just keep taking care of the airmen, man.
Thank you, Philly. I really appreciate that. And last thing I'll just say is, just like I started out, thank you so much to each and every one of you. I know Jess is on there in the comments. Thanks for having this platform, allowing us an opportunity to just be real, raw, and just talk about a lot of stuff, share a lot of laughs and do everything. It's people like y'all that motivate me and inspire me to be better and to keep being the best each and every day. So again, if I can ever do anything for any of y'all, please hit me up, whether it's Facebook, whether it's through Global, whatever it is. I'm just happy to be serving as a chief. But just like I tell my airmen, honored to be their chief. But more importantly, I'm honored to be their wingman. So you guys got a wingman in me. So if there's ever anything that I can do for y'all, please let me know.
Likewise.
We appreciate it. Yeah, definitely appreciate
you.
Well, that's what it is today, huh? Hey, I think this was another classic, man. Like I said, I think it was another classic. I know Philly and Chief Goff, y'all close it out. So all I'm going to say is y'all already know who it is. Unpopular Celebrities.
We out of here.
Peace.
We're off.
Yeah.
Dope,
man.
Yeah, that was real good. I'm not sure Chief Goff. Chief Goff. Oh, he's still on. He's still on. Yeah. Hey, Chief, really appreciate it for real. That was a really good episode. I appreciate you sharing all your stories and everything and being as honest as you were, because I think a lot of people are going to get inspired by this, and you're absolutely right on everything you said. So I really appreciate you coming on here. I know Philly kind of coordinated everything, so of course I appreciate him as well. But I really appreciate you coming on here for real, and love hearing your stories. Can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me, and I look forward to seeing you at AFSA and Dale. I know I heard you say about the DSD, man. I'm proud of you. Do your best, yes, and bring all that experience back to the career field. Like I said, if you need anything from me, reach out. But keep grinding, man, because we need you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yes, sir. Got one more year left, and I'm back. I'm back with y'all.
Hey, Pete, you sure we off?
100%.
All right.
I've been wrong.
It say live and recording. I still see viewers. I'm just